We from Philly.
If you don't know, we run these streets the same way the birds run that NFC East. Johnson's weak, Skins is trash. Cowboys every season whoop that ass. Look, it ain't no competition. We here for those who listen. Want nothing but the facts. That ego coalition. We could give two fucks about your trash ass team. Our concern is about that black, that white, that midnight green. The feathers on the helmet, bruh, our hearts indebted. Fly Eagles fly, what it's about, bruh. I said it, look up.
But I just gotta know one thing. Are you ready? No! I said, are you ready?
What's up? Home of the NFC champions, Philadelphia! We are live, broadcasting from the beautiful new media studios right outside of Philadelphia. Welcome to the 4th and Jawn Super Bowl Preview Show, Part 2. Boys and girls, we are 5 days away from the Super Bowl. And all year I have stood up in front of this microphone. Pope John Paul has got on top of his soapbox and preached the gospel of the Philadelphia Eagles. At times I've spoken on behalf of the entire Eagles fan base. But tonight, I want to speak on behalf of me, myself, and only I. Because as we turn this corner into the second week, getting ready for the Super Bowl, I fully expected those butterflies in my stomach to be bouncing around like there was a hurricane in there. I expected sleepless nights where I'm staring up at that ceiling, wondering what a Super Bowl would feel like, or the disappointment of another crushing defeat to the New England Patriots. I expected the seeds of doubt that were planted 13 years ago in 2005 to come rooting back into my head. But as I stand before you today, and as you hear my voice across these airwaves, I am of sound mind and I am sleeping like a fucking baby. It is an unexpected calm. It is a surprising peace that I'm feeling. And today I was racking my brain. I was thinking to myself, EROCK, why do you feel this way? And I've come to these conclusions. Eagles fans, we have done everything in our power to will our team to this point. We fully embraced the underdog mentality. We have made Lincoln Financial Field the home field advantage to be feared across the NFL that it is. We have taken over stadiums coast to coast. There is nothing left for us to do. I'm not a religious man, but it's in God's hands now. We've done everything we could possibly do. Number two, this team is the single best team we've ever sent to the Super Bowl to represent the city of Philadelphia. You can argue better teams. This team was better at that. That team was better at that. But collectively, as the definition of a team, this is the best one we're sending. This team has taken the underdog, ragtag, nobody believed in us mentality of the 1980 Vermeil team. This team has taken the violent, gritty, knock 'em out mentality of Buddy's boys back in 91 that should have went to a Super Bowl had Randall Cunningham not went down. This team has the finesse, the talent, the scheme of the 2004 Andy Reid, Donovan McNabb team. And lastly, this team can no longer be doubted. Every time the critics, the naysayers, the haters try to cast doubt upon this Philadelphia Eagles team, they have risen to the occasion and they have dominated. Even people in our own fan base who have cast doubt, even myself who have doubted them at times, can no longer doubt them any longer. Eagles fans, there is nothing left for us to do except get ready for the biggest fucking party you have ever seen on Broad Street, because I believe in my heart that this team is winning the Super Bowl. I believe in my core, down to my soul, that this team is not only going to lift the Lombardi Trophy up, they are going to step on the throats of the New England Patriots dynasty. They are going to end the evil empire, because they did not call themselves a dynasty until they beat us for their 3rd Super Bowl championship. And it is only fitting, it is only right, it is only justice that we are the fucking ones to end it.
Fucking amen.
Mr. Gale Saunders, my partner in crime for the last 2 years on this podcast.
Yeah, buddy.
And the 6 years prior to it. The floor is yours, my friend.
I mean, as a podcast, as a fan base, as an Eagles team, we have been waiting for this moment. I mean, the moment is finally upon us. It's kind of like, it's like surreal. Like, you wake up in the morning, you're like, Super Bowl, you think about it every night. You think about it before you go to sleep. You think about it when you wake up. But it's here. But at the end of the day, it's all about identity of this football team. And there's a quote from Bill Walsh, who's won a lot of Super Bowls. You must be the best version of yourself that you can be. Stay within the framework of your own personality and be authentic. If you're faking it, you will be found out. And the Super Bowl, we're coming to take the Super Bowl. We don't give a shit about Tom Brady or what he's going to do. We don't care about the technique of the rub routes and spreading them out and Gronkowski. But at the end of the day, you know, Doug Peterson had a word of advice for Brett Favre, who was coaching his first high school football team. He talked about he needed to call Doug Peterson for some help. Brett Favre calling Doug Peterson. I'm going to coach my first high school game. What should I do, Doug Peterson? He said, "Kiss." It's a coaching term. It means keep it simple, stupid.
Absolutely.
And at the end of the day, you do what you know best. You do you, Doug. And what has Doug been? He's been aggressive. He stuck to his own identity. And in times like this, you look at the other Doug who played Bill Belichick last week, Doug Marrone, who took his foot off the gas. Their team was aggressive. That Jaguars team had the game in the bag. They went into zone coverage instead of playing man. You look at tweets from A.J. Bouye, look at tweets from Jalen Ramsey, and how upset they were when they changed the format of the defense. So Bill Belichick could just slip right in and do what he does. But at the end of the day, it's about being aggressive, doing you, Doug. And I feel like we're here, man. We're here. Sir. We are here, and we're taking no prisoners. We're gonna kick in the door, waving the 4-4. All I want to hear is, Fletcher Cox, don't hit me no more. You know?
I love the fact that you brought up right at the top of what you were saying, identity. Because our good friend over at SB Nation, Tyler Tynes, wrote a little article that we were a little bit of a contributor to. Yeah. We sat down with him at Chickies and Pete's and talked to him. And one of the things that we talked about was this fan base and this city holds a high priority on identifying with the team in front of them. And that's where Eagles teams of the past have struggled. For instance, Nelson Aguilar last year, all up in his head, saying in front of people or in front of the media that, you know, he's a little lost in his own heads. Philadelphians can't identify with that. There have been other teams that struggled in the past. Jason Avant comes to mind, where he's talking about the fans booing. We can't identify with that. We can identify with every aspect of this team, every individual on this team. There are leaders, there are heroes. We see ourselves in this team, whether it be Chris Long giving away his entire year's salary to charity, whether it be Malcolm Jenkins trying to, whether you agree with it or not, trying to bridge the gap on social issues that, you know, have been a little bit of a topic in the NFL nowadays, whether it be a guy like Nick Foles, who during his media day tells his story about a lack of confidence and how he fell back in love with the game. Every cliche thing that have been attributed to the Philadelphia fans, the hardworking, blue-collar, things that we kind of poo-poo off and think are cliche, secretly in the back of our heads, we love it to death. And when we can identify with that, we fully embrace a team. And going back to my opening, that's why I'm saying I can no longer doubt this team, because they are a reflection of the city that's sending them to Minneapolis to go do what has never been done before in franchise history, and that's win a goddamn Super Bowl. Working the social media today is our friend Philly Mike, I Bleed Philly. How are you today, sir?
This is what's been going on with me. Since Sunday, this past Sunday, I've been excited and nervous. My stomach has been in knots since then. That's when it really hit me. We're like, holy shit, we're 1 win away to win it all. What's making me real nervous is Tom Brady. I just want our defensive line to absolutely feast, destroy Tom Brady, put him in his deathbed. He's wearing a white jersey Sunday. I want to make sure there's fucking blood on his damn jersey on Sunday. Oh, my God. I want to destroy Tom Brady. I want to destroy the Pats so bad. I would love to have another blowout just like the Vikings game, just to end a fucking era with the fucking Patriots. Just one more win.
Finish him.
It's a winnable game. I'm not scared of this New England Patriots the way I was frightened of the New England Patriots when we played them in 2004. This isn't the same team. In fact, I was listening to the Fanatic today, Mays and Martinez, and they had a Boston radio station kind of doing a multicast with them. Mm-hmm. And even the Boston radio station admitted that in the 7 Super Bowl appearances under Tom Brady, won 5 of them, lost 2 of them, correct? That this is probably the second worst team that they're sending to the Super Bowl. That the worst team that they sent was the second time they played the New York Giants. Mm-hmm. So this is still Tom Brady, the GOAT, and he can kill you. This is still Bill Belichick, the coaching GOAT, and he can still scheme up a PhD-style game plan to burn you. But at the end of the day, this is a winnable game, and this is a beatable New England Patriots team. Working the soundboard today is Hollywood Hearn, Evan Bubblegum Ear. How are you today?
I'm good, man. I am good.
Ashton Kutcher.
Yeah. I'm soaking it all in as I have been all season long, and it's been a fun ride all season, and I never really thought that it would roll all the way this far, but I just want to throw it out there that, who would have thought the one year that the Eagles are making a Super Bowl push and it's looking like they're going to win is also the year of the rise of 4th and Jawn. I'm just super thankful to be able to talk sports with you guys at such a high peak.
It's good for business.
It's
Good
great.
for
it's
business.
doing great for business. But I threw together a little year in review for the Eagles. Get us a little bit amped for the game.
Ooh, all right, let's do it.
Wins. Takes the snap. Wentz fires out at the flat to Aguilar. Aguilar across the 10, across the 5. He leaps. He's in. Touchdown. There he is.
You gotta get up. Come on, get up.
Fumble to his left. Ryan rolls. Ryan pumps. Ryan is throwing it up in the air. Incomplete. Incomplete. Intended for Joe. You're out.
He does.
Good attempt. Now get up one more round.
And the kick is... It's good! And the Eagles win!
He's no machine. I get the NFL. Get up, you son of a bitch. Mickey loves you.
Goes into a long count. Straightens up. Takes the snap. Here comes the rush. He's hit, and it's intercepted. It's picked off by Robinson. Robinson at the 30. Cuts back across the field. Patrick Robinson looks for a block. Now he's at the 20. He's at the 15, the 10, the 5. Touchdown! Patrick Robinson!
Don't get that. Come on. Get back, boy. Dummy, you don't need this. Dummy, you lose, you're finished. I got one more round. Come on. I'm not going to knock you out this time. I'm going to put you through the street. One more round.
The Eagles are headed for the Super Bowl.
I love it. Yeah, well
Bring
done.
a tear down my eye, man.
Hollywood Hearn Productions.
Nobody take that Twitter handle because that has not been made yet.
Hollywood Hearn?
Hollywood
Oh,
Hearn.
you better take it. You better. There's people live listening to this. You better take
On
it.
top of it.
You're gonna end up with a parody account with you in a feather boa and sunglasses on, looking like Hulk Hogan.
Not the fake Hollywood Hearn.
the big Hollywood Hearn.
Bootleg Ric Flair.
And next, I would like to introduce in the studio one of your favorite Twitter accounts on Eagles Twitter, certainly one of mine, in studio. And he was at the tailgate the first week. He was at the tailgate for the NFC Championship game. And now he's here in studio to complete the trifecta to bring home a Super Bowl victory. Eagles fan problems is in studio with us. How are you today, sir?
I am just amazing. It's great. Like, first off, thank you guys for, letting me on here
Thanks
today.
for stopping in.
But, I've spent 13 years personally just wondering and waiting what this is going to feel like again. Like, we lose the Super Bowl in 2004. And my first thought is I'm a 13-year-old kid, and I'm like, oh, well, no problem. We'll be back the next year. We've got McNabb and T.O. and, we're set up for years to come. And then, boom, that falls out. And then the years go on, and it's not so easy. And then I really thought in 2008, maybe now this is going to do it because this, could really be the last run for Donovan McNabb and Brian Westbrook and Brian Dawkins and running and that whole crew. And then it's, the rug is ripped out from underneath us at the last second against the Arizona Cardinals. And I'm like, damn, when is the next time that this team's going to get back here? I thought it was just going to happen. And so the past 2 weeks now, as obviously we're back here in the Super Bowl, I've tried to just kind of soak it all in because this is not how I expected to feel. It's kind of what you were saying to open the show. It was like, I thought I'd have butterflies. I thought I would be super nervous, especially going up against the Patriots again, thinking, how are we going to take this team down? In 2004, it was the T.O. watch for 2 weeks. We're like, we need T.O. We're facing a dynasty. Everyone was talking about the Patriots becoming a dynasty, and we're like, oh, man, I really hope T.O. gets back. We're going to need T.O. to beat the Patriots. I don't feel that way this time around. I really feel like this is the team. And
yes, sir.
I can't believe I'm this comfortable and this confident. But this team just has the feel of a champion. All they do is overcome every single obstacle that's thrown at them. They just overcome it all. And the best part about this is 2004 was like a climax. It was following 3 years of NFC Championship frustration, and that was the peak for that team. And that was their chance to really go and win it all. The best part about this is this feels like the beginning of something. Yes. That's another reason I wasn't expecting to feel this way, is because this happened so fast. And it feels like this is just the beginning of a long, great era. I think we're going to win this game. We're going to have a freaking Lombardi trophy. And then Nick Foles will have won this team a Super Bowl. Can you imagine what the next 10 to 15 years are going to be with Carson James Wentz leading the way at quarterback?
I like that.
That's great. It's so exciting to think about. And we're going to do this. This is the team. This is what an Eagles championship team looks like. It's here. It's in front of us. I've been taking these 2 weeks, just letting it all sink in, just enjoying every single second of this.
Yeah, it comes around way too infrequently, especially in the city of Philadelphia. And that 2004 team, that was a team that was expected to win. When we signed Terrell Owens, when we signed Javon Curse, when we were knocking on the doorstep 3 years in a row and had not been able to get over that hump, we now had the pieces in place to win the Super Bowl. We were the odds-on favorites going into it. In fact, most of the pundits agreed, and they were correct, that it would be Philadelphia versus New England. And they were absolutely 100% right. When you take a look at this team, so often, sports are not just about what you see on the TV and enjoying the game itself during the 3 hours or so on a Sunday in which you watch it. So much is enjoyed through the storylines told within the sport. And the fact that we didn't expect this team to get this far at this point. My personal prediction was 9-7 going into the season. I expected Doug Peterson and Carson Wentz to kind of take that next step in the progression. I preach it all the time. You've heard it on these airwaves. Year 1, you implement the system. Year 2, you perfect the system. Year 3, you make your run. Well, they made their run. And when Carson Wentz was healthy and this team was rolling, man, we had Super Bowl. We didn't want to say it, and then we started saying it with our chest, right? And then when Carson Wentz goes down, all hope is lost. But Nicky Foles comes in. That's why you take a look at this team, and it's so uniquely Philadelphia in the way it's reflected upon us in the city. It's a ragtag group of cast-offs, whether it be Chris Long from the Patriots last year, whether it be LeGarrette Blount, who's been switching teams almost seamlessly every year, whether it be Alshon Jeffrey, who the Bears were like, nah, we're good, whether it be Malcolm Jenkins at a certain point where the Saints were like, nah, we're good. Corey Graham, Ronald Darby, who was traded. All these people contributing. This is an underdog story in the city that made the underdog story famous. Storyline-wise, you can't get any better than this. Not even with the opponent, the evil empire, the immovable force, Bill Belichick and Tom Brady, the GOATs. Oh, David versus Goliath was a tale that will stand the test of time now and forever. And so will these 2017 Philadelphia Eagles. So let me ask you, Mr. Gale Saunders, when you take a look at this matchup in the Super Bowl, what do you see?
Too fucking easy.
Thank you, Straw Hat Guy.
At the end of the day, I firmly believe that, Tom Brady is one of the best quarterbacks playing against pressure. And, we are the number one team bringing pressure. And the number two team that brings pressure was the Jacksonville Jaguars. Mm-hmm. The one thing I do love, the Jacksonville Jaguars, their defensive linemen, they weren't that deep.
Yeah.
We are
talented, but not deep.
Not deep. So they played about 3 quarters. Our defensive line plays about 60 minutes of pure fucking pressure. We bring the pressure all day. And I think that's where, the whole thing on Tom Brady is getting that interior pressure up the A-gap. Look at the Super Bowls that they lost. That's where they got to Brady. They got to Brady early, started seeing ghosts. Once you get Tom Brady seeing ghosts, you gotta lay a hand on him.
And the formula, listen, there is formulas for beating anybody. And we're going to take your phone calls and just coming up in a minute. The number to call in is 215-515-2924. We certainly want to hear from you, your thoughts on the game and how you're feeling as you approach the game. But there is a formula for beating anybody. Listen, I'll give you the formula for beating the Philadelphia Eagles. It is if you're the New England Patriots defense, you are trying to get Nick Foles off of his spot, and you are trying to eliminate the run game, because that's what Philadelphia does best. When you take a look at some of the losses that the Eagles have had in Week 2 against the Chiefs, the quarterback threw the ball 46 times. They gave up on the run. They just gave up on it because they fell behind. They had a couple turnovers. The Kansas City Chiefs defense, they didn't run the ball in the teeth of that defensive line. So they abandoned the run, threw the ball 46 times. The tight end on offense had over 100 yards receiving. Gronk's going to be a big part of this game. If you look at the way the New York Giants played the Philadelphia Eagles up there at MetLife, it was all about quick slants, rub plays, and then using those quick slants, those quick drops, Eli Manning getting the ball out of his hand to then in turn use for double moves and bait Kendricks and bait Darby into some of these double moves. So if I'm the New England Patriots, I am trying to get my tight end involved as much as I possibly can. I am using 3-step drops, ball out of your hands in 3 seconds, slants, rubs, using those quick receivers to get the offense moving. If I'm the New England Patriots defense, I am trying to take away the Philadelphia Eagles run attack and then make them one-dimensional, getting them in their head, have Doug Peterson get over-aggressive and ask too much of his quarterback, and that'll win the game for the New England Patriots. But to beat the Patriots, if you take a look at some of the Patriots' losses, Kansas City in Week 1 had 185 rushing yards and won the time of possession. Gronkowski had 33 yards on 2 receptions. So they were able to take away Gronk and use the rushing attack to not only put points on the board, but keep Brady on the fucking sidelines. It's not that hard. Panthers, Week 2, Carolina had 140 yards rushing against that Patriots defense. Gronk had 80 yards, but it was on 4 catches. It was only on 4 catches and kept them out of the end zone. Dolphins, Week 14, Miami had 120 rushing yards, won the time of possession. Gronk did not play. Now, he's going to play Sunday. You know, even though he's not on Media Row or anything, he'll play. That guy could be half brain dead. That guy could have a lobotomy, and he's still gonna suit up. So that's how you beat this New England Patriots offense. You take away Gronk, you establish the running game. Tom Brady can't kill you when he's on the sidelines, and like the defense, we can take a look at the Eagles and the Patriots. Offensively, they match up very well. Eagles, 7th best offense. Patriots, number 1 ranked offense as far as yards per game. Points per game offensively, 28.6. They're identical. Passing offense, the Patriots have the edge. Rushing offense, the Eagles have the edge. But the big discrepancy is in that defense. You know, we're not talking about the Teddy Bruschi, Richard Seymour.
This is not the same defense.
This is not the same defense. Patriots defense, 29th overall in yards per game. Pass defense, 30th. Rushing defense, 20th. The Tom Brady and Bill Belichick can't hurt you if their asses are sitting on the sideline.
And one thing I think we really have to take advantage of their linebackers. That's their weak spot. And I think you're going to see a wrinkle, whether it be maybe Aguilar in the backfield, maybe as a running back or some kind of thing where they take advantage of their running backs in the flats. You know, I think that's where you got to attack them or down the field. And because there was I think it was Football Outsiders, they did a report on, they try to look at some similarities in some of the tight games that they had, the Patriots, it was like the Bucks and the other losses that you talked about, and running backs who had over 5 catches and like 60 yards. Those are the games that they lost. Yeah. And they can be run on. And that's at the end of the day, I feel like this Philadelphia Eagles offense is one of the most versatile they've seen. We can run the ball, we can pass the ball. And plus with these RPOs, these run-pass options lately, I really feel like Alshon Jeffrey on the backside on these slants can really be effective. And at the end of the day, we still can run up the interior. And that's another thing. They're weak up the interior against the run as well.
Yeah.
So.
When the game, I mean, it's the most simplistic thing. It's the most cliche thing, but you'll never hear truer words spoken. The game is won in the trenches. It just is. And I don't see how you look at the New England Patriots and take a look at that offensive and defensive line and say how you compares to the Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles' offensive line is one of the top in the NFL. They are so underrated between Lane Johnson, Brooks, Kelsey is having an unbelievable year. Vitai's doing the job. Wisniewski's doing the job. And defensive line, like you mentioned, Gail, the Jaguars, they're talented, but they're not deep.
Right.
Why did the Giants beat the Patriots in the Super Bowl not once but twice? Why? Why?
Put Brady on the ground.
Because they could bring pressure with 4 people, and they could run the fucking ball. Hello? Does this not remind you of anybody? This is why it's a winnable game. Go ahead, Hollywood.
No. I was just going to answer your question. Andy Reid. That's who it reminds me of. No.
Andy Reid.
I'm not run the ball.
No, yeah, exactly. You can't get away. You have to dedicate yourself to the run. And look, they're going to have to play a perfect game. They can't play their B game. They can't play their C game and expect to beat the New England Patriots. But so often I've heard that, especially on Good Morning Football, that you need a PhD to beat Bill Belichick and the Patriots. That you need to be like cerebral, that you need to have your master's degree, your PhD in order to beat them.
They said the same thing about Chip Kelly, right? When he
exactly.
was coming in.
But all the Eagles need to do, yes, Gail, they'll add some wrinkles. Yes, they'll look at the matchups. The matchups are where the PhD is earned. But stay within yourself.
Right.
You're doing nothing wrong. Don't think, Eagles fans, that this team needs to come out and fool the New England Patriots, because they don't. They just need to stay within themselves, stay within their own game, and just do the things that they do well and play mistake-free football. That is simply it.